This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Outrage from tenants and owners at a condominium complex in Brentwood. Several people forced out of their homes after an inspection reveals the building is not safe. Now residents are demanding answers about what comes next. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. This all happening at Brentwood Forest. Tenants were notified earlier this week that they needed to move out that very same day. Justina Coronel is live from outside the complex in Brentwood. What have you learned, Justina?
Yeah, so Mike and Kelly, 8 tenants in this building behind me here tell me that they received this letter on Tuesday around 3 o'clock that they needed to leave their home by 6. So that means in 3 hours they had to grab some of their belongings and leave and find temporary placing somewhere else. Now earlier today we actually caught inspectors here at this building in question on Swallow Drive, which contains the units 1561 to 1575. Now the letter tenants received said there were plumbing issues at the building a couple of weeks ago and there were cracks in the back of the foundation wall. That's when the property management called an engineer and they found structural deficiencies in the main level slab and said because of the level of deterioration observed, all units in this condo building are unsafe. A city engineer then confirmed the findings and tenants were forced to move out that very same day. Renters and owners tell me they believe the lack of communication, planning, and speedy removal was concerning. Condo owner Daniel Friedman hopes certain steps will be taken.
Number one, finding a place for the people who were displaced to live. And number two, I hope that they come up with a plan to create some better form of communication and or transparency with regard to moving forward.
I'm told new property management took over this summer. Now I did reach out to them in multiple ways, but we have not heard back just yet. I'm told there's no timeline on when tenants can return. Reporting in Brentwood, Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
A DoorDash driver is charged with attempted rape in St. Louis County. Police say Treveg Gaines forced his way into a woman's apartment in North County during a food delivery on Tuesday. He's also accused of FaceTiming her while performing a sexual act. He was later arrested.
The brother of a man charged with shooting a youth football coach says the shooting was self-defense. Daryl Clemens is charged with shooting Shaquille Lattimore last week. It happened at Sherman Park in North City during practice. Today, Clemens was in court arguing self-defense. His brother claims Lattimore drew a gun first.
Shaquille handed his gun to a friend of his and told him to hold the gun. So him and my brother had a fist altercation. And when he felt my brother got the best of him, he asked his friend for the gun back. In the midst of him getting the gun in his hand, my brother shot in self-defense.
We talked to Coach Lattimore last night. He says Clemens was angry because his son was not a starting player. He's now out of the hospital. There's another hearing scheduled for Clemens next month.
St. Louis police investigating a shooting that injured a woman and a 17-year-old boy. It happened just after 1 this morning near 10th and O'Fallon in North City. The victims told police they were inside a car when someone shot at them. They drove to a gas station for help. Both are expected to survive, and so far no arrests.
Tonight, a stray dog is blamed for causing an elephant to collapse and die at the St. Louis Zoo. Tracy Henson explains why.
The zoo is not doing interviews about that elephant at this time, but we did talk to a veterinarian who has worked with large animals for a little more insight on what could have happened.
From the initial indications, it appears that caused a cardiovascular event, and the elephant passed.
Joining me from a veterinary mission in Nicaragua, Dr. Stu Robson from Wildwood told me that stress may have caused the 27-year-old Asian elephant Ronnie to die.
They did a necropsy, which is like an autopsy on animals, and there's some preliminary indications that there was possibly an underlying heart condition.
The zoo says Ronnie was inside eating dinner when a stray dog ran near the elephant barn outside. The area is not open to the public. The elephant that was outside got nervous and started to call for the others. Even though she was inside and never saw the dog, Ronnie called out for the other elephants outside and collapsed.
It was not anybody's fault. There was a loose dog, but it just wasn't anybody's fault.
We did talk to guests who visited the zoo today. They said the elephants were out and they look, at least to them, like they always do. At the St. Louis Zoo, I'm Tracy Henson, 5 on your side.
Republican Congressman Jim Jordan is struggling to get enough votes to become the next House Speaker. There have been 2 rounds of voting so far, with another expected tonight. All St. Louis area Republicans have voted to support Jordan, but he is still more than a dozen votes away from winning the election. Patrick McHenry has been serving as interim speaker since the House voted to oust Kevin McCarthy. But without a permanent speaker, the House can't pass any legislation.
Tonight, President Biden is expected to address the nation after his trip to Israel. It's been nearly 2 weeks since Hamas fighters attacked Israel. Now humanitarian aid is on its way to Gaza, where thousands are dead and injured from Israel's retaliation strikes. NBC's Jay Gray has the latest from Israel.
Good evening. It has been an intense day in Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces saying that they have been involved in continuous attacks, hundreds of strikes over the last 24 hours. They say that they've hit missile launch sites, tunnel shafts, intelligence and operational structures, and that 10 leaders of Hamas, using their words, have been eliminated. We know that they are continuing to mount for a push on the ground. They're moving troops in. They're training. They've got equipment staged. And today, according to the Reuters wire service, the Israeli defense minister told troops on the ground there, quote, "You see Gaza now from a distance. You will soon see it from inside." So perhaps that ground assault that so many have been talking about over the last week or so is a bit closer to actually moving in. On the other end of the spectrum here and at the other end of Gaza, we are going to see perhaps some aid rolling in, something that's been desperately needed over the last 2 weeks. The president making the trip here and pushing for humanitarian aid to get to 2 million or so trapped in Gaza right now with no help. And if it all works the way it's been planned, trucks could begin to roll in tomorrow. 20 trucks filled with water, food, and medicine to those who are in the middle of this fight right now. UN officials say they are pleased with this change, but that in reality they would need 100 trucks a day to fulfill the need on the ground in Gaza. That's the very latest this evening from Tel Aviv. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you now.
The president is pushing for more funding for Ukraine and Israel. His speech is scheduled for 7 o'clock tonight, local time, and you can see it live here on 5 on Your Side.